6 feet away.
I was trying.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jessie. I'm with Photo Booth Rocks, and today we are live from our warehouse. We have Kristen, the owner of Photo Booth Rocks, and Mark and Shadow back there. So I'm going to throw it over to them to introduce themselves.
What's up, guys? I'm Kristen with Photo Booth Rocks, and I've got my husband here with me. For those of you who don't know, yes, we are married. We are a husband and wife team, and I'll throw it over to him to say hello.
Hi, I'm Mark. I do all the photo booth logistics, deliveries, and setup coordination.
Hi, I'm Shadow, and I do logos and train photo booth attendants.
Yes! Guys, a lot of times you see that, myself, Jenny, or Jessie are out at bridal shows, or we're kind of the ones answering the phones and answering all of your questions. So we really appreciate that we've got the guys here with us because you guys never get to meet them. So
yeah, we're pretty excited. Today, we're pretty much going to go through all the different booth styles. I'm going to pick their brains for, all the features that they include, all the add-ons we can upgrade to, and the delivery process and all that good stuff. And hopefully we can figure out or give you guys some tools to help decide which booth is going to be the best choice for you and your event or wedding. So to kick it off with some fun stuff, I'm going to ask each of them the toughest question so far. Which booth is your favorite? Kristen, you start first.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can pick because I feel like every single one of our booths kind of adds something depending on the type of event you're having or depending on the venue. So in some ways, I love our digital booth because it is a quick, you can get a text message, you've got the instant gratification, you could start uploading it from your phone to your social media. We actually had it at our team Christmas party last year, so that was fun. I really love our mirror booth. If you are, let's say, planning an event in a ballroom, it could really add that wow factor in the corner because it is a stand-up mirror. You can see it behind me, and it really is that wow factor. And I think my favorite part about our classic booths is it gives you that nostalgic traditional photo strip, but it also records video messages. So I think that's a really, really cool, momentum to kind of take away from.
Yeah, I think they're all so unique in their own way, and there's so many perks to each of them.
Yeah.
What about you boys? What about Mark and Shadow? Which booth is your favorite?
I'm gonna have to go with the digital style booth. Again, just to say what Kristen said: the text, the email, the gifts, the boomerangs, and it's portable and easy to set up.
That's definitely a benefit for the delivery guys. Shadow?
I'm gonna go with the mirror booth just because you can walk up to it and have the most fun with it, and it's the life of the party, honestly.
Super interactive. I like that about that one too.
Agreed. Okay, so we're going to start with just kind of running through each of the booths, showing off what features they have. And then hopefully we get some live viewers that will ask us some questions, but I also have a bunch of questions prepared for you guys. So let's start off with our classic booth styles, which includes the prints and our enclosed classic. Kristen, do you want to take it away and kind of tell us about what those booths do?
Yeah, so these booths, first of all, they do the exact same thing. So you can either get the enclosed version, which is more of that traditional, what you would see a photo booth in, where you open the curtain, you sit down, you close the curtain, and you take your pictures. You can actually hear it taking pictures. Tiny. It's really quick. I don't know what these boys are doing, but probably have a little bit of fun. It'll go through the cycle of taking your photos, and then at the very end of that, if you've got the video messaging feature, our photo booth attendants will simply say, hey, real quick, will you record a video message? Let's say it's for your wedding. They'll hand you the microphone, and you could say whatever you want to say, like, what's up? Congratulations. Your wife looks so beautiful. And it really just gives you that takeaway message and then prints out instantly, which, as you can see, it is already printed out and ready to go. So whether you decide to do the enclosed or the open with the curtain, they do the same thing. And it really just depends on, we get this question asked a lot, which one should I choose? It really just depends on you. Do you want that, close kind of like intimate feeling? I personally love figuring out how many heads I can fit into a photo screen, or do you want kind of more open for a multitude of reasons? Do you want all 7 of your bridesmaids to squeeze in, or maybe you've got, that ballroom dress that can't really fit inside of the small one? So again, same features. It really just depends on, I want to say, the application, I guess you would say.
Yeah. So let's talk about that really quick. How many people will fit in each booth style?
Yeah, that's actually a really great question. We get asked that question all the time. In the enclosed classic booth, technically, like butts in chairs, maybe you can fit like 2 people, but you guys know how it is. Pull open that curtain, kind of like go in a little bit. And in the picture, I would say 3 to 4 comfortably at the most. I've seen people squish 5 or 6. And then in the open air version of that, or the one with the glitter backdrop, I would say you can maybe comfortably fit up to 6 or 8. Again, just depending on, you know, the size of the people, how tall, how short, how you squish them in, how close you are to the camera, how far away you are. You know, you can kind of play with that. And, you know, again, that's why our photo booth attendants are there to kind of help people kind of fit them in, you know?
Yeah, so with the one that we can see in the background right behind you, that one has the wings with the gold backdrop. That backdrop does come in gold, rose gold, or silver, or of course you can do solid black or white curtains. The booth itself comes in black or white, and those wings can be taken off. So it's just a standalone booth. You could pair it with your own backdrop or one of ours, like the brick behind the mirror booth. So that's kind of what she means when you say, you know, with or without that gold curtain. I think there's a lot of different customized options you can do with those classic styles that make them perfect fits for weddings.
Yep. And also too, depending on, you know, how much space. I know you get asked this question a lot of, you know, well, I'm afraid it's not going to fit in my ballroom. So we can kind of play with that a little bit as far as, you know, I personally feel like the enclosed one is, it takes up less space.
Compact.
Because yeah, you're kind of almost encouraged to kind of squish in. Whereas the other one, it's a little bit more like spread out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So with that, is there a recommended footprint that our couples or clients should kind of keep in mind for how much room to save the photo booth?
Yeah.
8 by 8 space.
Yeah, you know, and I was looking at Mark because, you know, they're the ones setting this up all the time. I would agree with him. I think about an 8 by 8 space would be ideal. That way you have room for the photo booth itself. You have room for the people who are going to, you know, congregate around it. You've got room for your prop table and your scrapbook table.
Yeah. And the attendant, the props, it's more than just the like booth itself. You usually need like a little cocktail table or a 6-foot table next to it for all the props and scrapbooks, right?
Yeah, we can either do a 6-foot table, we could do a 4-foot table, or, you know, if you want, what works for a really great flow is actually having 2 cocktail tables, one on each side. So like guests can come up, grab a prop, have fun with it, get in the photo booth, get out, and then use the scrapbook. So we can do that too.
And of course, our attendants are really good about helping return those props, make sure that the, you know, couples or guests know how to use the photo booth, and make sure that they actually leave their photo strip behind and not take it with them, and leave a little message for the couple. So perfect. Let's talk about our mirror booth. You want to tell us a bit about that one?
Yeah. So this one is super interactive. This is really a walk up and it attracts you to touch it. It's got interactive graphics on here. It'll kind of encourage you to strike a pose. It gives you a countdown on the screen. You'll obviously strike a pose. There's actually a little camera with an LED ring, so it tells you when to look at the camera. So again, with that booth, it's really interactive. Typically, it'll take about 3 pictures every time that you go in and do it. And then it actually prints out on a 4x6. One thing that's really cool too is you can sign the image with your hand at the end. And then we can kind of place that on that printout wherever that is. Then it's got fun emojis you can kind of add. So it's more than just a photo taking novelty. It really is something that is interactive and entertaining. So it's
like a wow for your guests.
Yes. It really is. There's like, wait, what? This is a photo booth? So yeah.
And what kind of backdrop options? Does it need a backdrop? Do you recommend, like, could they bring their own? What kind of backdrop options does that one need?
So that's a great question. I personally love the way the photos turn out better when there is a backdrop, because you think about how a photo booth works in general, or even how your camera works. When you can contain the light, the photos are going to turn out a lot better. So we actually do have backdrop options. There's photos of them on the website. If you go to photoboothrocks.com and then click on hover over booths and then click backdrop. So we've got some you can rent with your package, or you can bring your own as long as that is set up and ready to go before they get to the venue to set up. That way they can go ahead and test the lighting and everything with your backdrop.
That makes sense. I love our backdrops. I'm a big fan of them. The boys always make fun of me for all the bridal shows. I always want to bring a backdrop.
Yep.
If you are going to bring your own backdrop, how big should it be?
Ooh, that's a Mark question.
One more time. I'm sorry, I was playing.
So if our couples or our clients want to bring their own backdrop, what would you suggest the size be?
No smaller than 8x8.
Okay, so an 8x8.
Yeah, that makes sense. That way, it's full coverage. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you can put it a little bit further away from the booth and fit more people in it at that point.
Correct.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so then let's talk about our digital booth.
Yeah, so this is actually, I was going to say yes, but then I cut myself off. This is actually the newest booth to our tribe of photo booths, if you want to call them that. And this one is a completely different experience. Again, you can walk up to it, or we can set up the backdrop and you kind of walk in, and it is touchscreen. You can really choose what experience you want. So with this booth, you can choose, okay, I want it to print out, whether you actually print or not, because it can text to your phone. You can choose to do a boomerang, and I think this one, oh, he's over here playing. So I don't know if you guys can see that from here. Actually, Mark, if you'll text that to me, we'll grab my phone and I can show them from there, that one. So that one's kind of fun because you can either do like a little boomerang or you can do the printout. So.
Okay. He texted me one earlier, his little test photo. And the cool part, I mean, with all of our booths really, is that you can customize the graphics on all of the prints. So in this case, I today put our logo on there and put our like little artwork on there. So our couples and our clients can customize it with their logo, their wedding artwork. Pro tip, Canva is a really good app to go in and customize it. Or you can pick from one of our templates too. And all of our booths do that. Even the digital one, even when it gets texted to you, it can still be a customized frame around it. So this is an example of a board that we keep in our office where you can kind of see a lot of different photo strips and a lot of different customizations. On there is our holiday party. We customize that with like our custom like branding, and it said like, "'Tis the season, we hope it rocks." So really like the possibilities are endless. Oh, that was another good one when we did the wedding pro. We put their logo on it and ours. So it's really good for conventions, trade shows. And then of course our couples, these are the best mementos from a wedding.
One thing I'll add to this one, Jesse, tell them about this one. This actually was a custom backdrop, speaking of which, that Kristen Johnson with a girl in her glitter made. So it's really, they did a physical backdrop where she hand built this. They planned it around their theme. They even made it 3D where they had like balloons kind of sitting in front of the backdrop. So that one was really cool.
It was gorgeous. It was like, it was definitely like a focal point of the room, and it was like an awesome photo op. So there she has an example of it, texted it straight to her. And you saw it was instant. So that's definitely a perk with the digital booth, is that, now it's on your phone.
Yeah, I forgot to mention too that with the digital booth, there is a digital prop option. So if you're not the prop type of person, at least to have them out on the table, you could still do the digital, which is kind of cool. So
kind of like a Snapchat filter type situation where you can put fun things on your face.
Yep. We even have masks.
Social distancing, whatnot.
Yes.
So,
yes, we are all standing 6 feet apart.
So, with the digital booth, does it only text or email to the guest? Can it print a physical copy of a photo as well?
Yes. Yes, it can.
It's an additional add-on, right? Like the standard is, the text or email, which a lot of our couples and clients, that's really all you need, because we're in a digital age where a lot of times people just want it on their phones.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So for our viewers right now, we are taking questions live. Feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm going to blow through some more questions that I have for these guys. But if you do have questions and want to know more, definitely let us know. Okay, so we kind of touched on this, but which photo booth is the best?
Jesse, how are you going to ask that question? Okay, based on what?
So there's no answer is what you're saying.
Yeah, And again, I think let's even talk about all the possible scenarios. When we're talking to our couples, what we hear. Sometimes I'll hear people say, I don't want a photo booth because my friend had it at her wedding. And so I'll say, okay, cool. Like what was that experience like? And, sometimes it's just, oh, well, she set up her own backdrop. She did DIY props and we just took selfies. Okay. To me, that's completely different than even our classic booths where we've got someone there interacting, saying, hey guys, you want to come take a picture? Like step right up. We're encouraging them. We can actually build a scrapbook out of that. So, I don't think that all photo novelties are the same. And I really think it depends on their circumstance, their venue, what type of party it is. I mean, heck, we're celebrating 10 years this year, and every single year we still have a photo booth at our holiday party, and all of our team absolutely loves it. So again, I just think it comes down to what they're really looking for. I remember one of our couples, they got married at the Orlando Country Club, and she was kind of hesitant on photo booths in general because she thought props were cheesy. So I was like, oh, that's an easy fix. Why don't we look at the theme of your wedding, and why don't you go on Etsy and go get custom props made? And her pictures on the other side turned out so awesome because all the little, props really had to do with them. Like they were Gators fans, so they got some of those props. They were what was it called? Their engagement party was American flag theme. They did like a whole American theme. So she even got like a little American flags. And so they really, really customized it to them. So I don't know if I can answer that question on which one is best.
Yeah. And my next question, Jenny asked which one's the best for weddings. And I think even that is hard. I mean, our gut is to say like the classic booth because it does the video messaging, which obviously I think is a feature that even for bar and bat mitzvahs back in the old days, like your videographer used to go around to all your guests and be like, do you have a message for the bride and groom? And now like that's kind of, they don't do that anymore. So this is a very cool alternative to that. But if like the mirror booth or even the digital booth, like those are so aesthetically like exciting and like unique that those might be a good fit for your wedding too. I mean, we really have a full range of what people end up picking.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about like what the typical package includes. Tell me just a little bit, like every booth comes with an attendant, props, the whole shebang.
Ooh, that's a good one. This one's going to really quiz my memory, which is why we made sure to put a graphic on our website that kind of outlines. It has like each booth and then like check marks going down of which ones include what. So if we can, I don't know if there's a way, but maybe even including a link to that somewhere in these comments so people can actually visually see that, because I'm such a visual person. At the end of the day, some of the key things off the top of my head that I know for sure can be possible to be included no matter which photo booth is the printouts. Obviously, we talked about the digital, and you can go with or without it. So every booth is going to print. With the mirror booth, that one only does 4x6s. So I have had couples say to me, well, I only want a 4x6. I would go with that booth or the digital booth. The digital booth also won't do the little photo strips. So let's say you're someone like Kristen, who I love the little photo strips. I would go with the classic booth. Let's see. Props are going to be included in all of those.
An attendant.
Yep. Of course, we're going to have every single time.
The digital copies of your photos, right?
Yeah. So every single photo booth will in some way have a copy of all your digital photos, depending on the behind the scenes type of like software that we have. But either way, don't worry. We're going to get you digital copies, whether that's on a USB, on Dropbox, or via a sharing site. So
that's awesome. So we have a question from the audience. Kelsey wants to know, could it be set up upstairs in a venue?
That's a great question, Kelsey. So it really depends on the venue. I would say, if I had to guess, 90% of our venues do have an elevator that allow us to go upstairs, which is great. If they do not have an elevator, I hate to say it, but like our classic booth weighs 400 pounds. And as much as these two are superheroes, they can't get it up a flight of stairs. Also, there's like insurance stuff too. So if you do have a venue that does not have elevator access, then at that point we've narrowed it down, and we can celebrate with the digital booth. That is the only booth that we are able to walk upstairs or steps. So even think about it this way, let's say you're at a unique venue that used to be a historic home. Most of the times when those historic homes are converted into a venue, they aren't really either handicap accessible, number one, or two, there really aren't any ramps or elevators or things like that. And in that case, again, I would go with the digital booth. Actually, one of our favorite venues that we are at very frequently, I'll give them a quick shout out. Casa Feliz, it's in Winter Park. That, off the top of my head, is a venue that we are able to get the print style photo booth, just because of the way that they have things. So for that particular venue, you could do the Prince photo booth.
I was going to say I think one of the biggest perks of our delivery guys is that they have been to almost every venue in the greater Orlando area. So if you have a concern about your specific venue, if you write us in, before I even write you back, I'm usually asking them and being like, hey, can you go here? Where does the photo booth go here? So they have like this working knowledge of what they can and can't do in all the venues. So you could absolutely ask us and just double check like, hey, I'm a little concerned about this. And they know. They're like super familiar with the load in, the load out, like they know exactly what they can and can't do, and we'll tell you like only the Prince booth or only the digital, or pick from all three.
Yeah, and we have really great partnerships across Central Florida. Mark and I both have been in this industry for, close to 15 years. I know. I am, but we've been doing this, so we have great partnerships. So even if we haven't been to a venue yet, which is very, very rare, unless it is brand new, just came out of the ground, we can work with them behind the scenes, shoot them over an email, go do a site visit if it's a brand new venue that we've never been to before. But otherwise, we can answer those questions and kind of go over those logistics. So
Kelsey said that she has an elevator, which is good news.
Yay!
Okay, so I'm gonna jump to one other question from the audience. If I want a custom backdrop but don't want to make one on my own, do you offer custom backdrops?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think maybe the answer to that is yes. I think the best way to go about that would be send us a picture of what you're looking for, because we do have a resource where, like, for example, if you see behind us our cafe light backdrop, that is basically printed on fabric. And so if you already have an image, we can probably just outsource that and get that printed for you.
Yeah, we definitely, I think if there's any there's a lot of customization options that already come included with our booths. And then if our couples do want to take it the next step further with even custom props or custom backdrops, we definitely collaborate with them on that, to make sure that like we're crafting what it is they want. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. How far out from their event should someone book a photo booth?
Ooh, that's a great question. I'll tell you the average is anywhere between 4 and 8 months is a really great time. I would say whenever you are comfortable, though. For us, we already are taking weddings into 2022. As a matter of fact, we did a few of those today, which is really exciting. But I would definitely say on average, it's 4 to 8 months out, but whenever you feel comfortable. As far as booking goes, we just ask for a deposit to hold the date, and then we start planning about 30 days out to finalize all the information. I would say kind of that threshold of it might be getting too late is that kind of 45 days out. So if your event, let's see, let's not even talk about the date right now, but let's just say if you start to get to that 45-day out mark, it's kind of pushing it to be a little bit too late. And just to kind of explain that for everyone, because some people really don't understand, there is a lot of work that goes into it. So we do schedule our staff 30 days out. Shadow is creating the graphics. There's kind of an approval process back and forth. We've got to get in touch with the venue to find out what the load in time is to make sure that we fit that in the delivery schedule. So it's all that kind of inner workings of the behind the scenes that people don't know we do, but we do. So
yeah. So let's talk really quickly about how many photo booths we have and how many can we deliver in one day?
Ooh, Mark Wilson.
We have 12 total, and we've done 11.
Wow. As long as they're all close together, that makes it a little doable, right? When they're all spread out, that kind of makes it like you can only do so many.
Yeah.
And on those days, no talk.
Yeah, I will add to that. Yeah, I will add to that and say that we do only have one mirror booth and we only have one digital booth. So if those are photo booths that any of your couples or any of our couples are interested in, once it is gone, it is gone. We don't have another one of those.
No, stake your claim.
You keep backup of absolutely everything on inside the booth. So, I know that leading up to the weddings, once we get to about the Tuesday prior to the wedding, we'll all get together. We have an operations meeting. We run through all the logistics for all of our events. That way on Wednesdays, the guys can come into the warehouse. They can start programming everything, doing a test on it. And then before every photo booth leaves the warehouse, they do one more test print before they load it. Then once they get to the venue, they set everything up. They do one more test print just to make sure nothing whittled around in transportation. If it did, they have time to troubleshoot and fix it. We can always come back to the warehouse, switch anything else that we need to. And then our photo booth attendants always arrive on site about an hour prior to showtime. That way, one more time, we are doing one more test print to make sure everything is good to go. And
I think that's like five test prints at that point.
Yes.
We're extra cautious. We're extra careful.
Yes. We try our best to be diligent in making sure that no matter what, in every part of the way from the time they contact us until the time the guests are using it, that things are rocking and rolling.
Yeah. And same for the video messages, right? So the way we capture those is with a microphone, kind of like probably exactly like the one that Kristen is holding. And, that way we can combat any excess noise. We still recommend not putting the photo booth too close to your DJ, because if there is a speaker blasting right next to it, there's really only so much we can do. Mm-hmm. But that microphone does help funnel all the sound so that your videos do get all that audio. Yeah. So we'll also test those every 5 minutes.
Well, and the thing about that too is, we try to encourage people to speak loudly if they are right next to a DJ. But keep in mind with the video messaging, there's benefits of having that with a photo booth, but it's definitely not going to replace your videographer. It's really just meant to be cute keepsake videos that you're watching on your laptop or your home screen. They are not meant to be, blown up on a movie screen that is HD. So keep that in mind too.
Yeah, that is good to know, and good information to have. So with that, how early do you guys arrive to set up?
Normally we like to arrive probably about 2 hours prior, as early as possible. Depends on how many we got that day. Also depends if we're outside. We try to wait till as long as possible to set the booth. That way the sun doesn't cook all the components inside.
That makes sense, because usually, the sun is down by the time it's reception. So that's to minimize the effect of that. You said it as close as possible. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, another question. What customization options do the clients have? So obviously there's the graphic at the bottom of the photo strip. What else?
Yeah, so
this is a test question.
Yeah, no, so the printout, obviously it's customizable. On the classic booths, we can change the names and the dates on the welcome screen. We actually just were recently able to create the welcome screen on the classic booths that match the logo that is on the printout, so we can do that.
I love that.
Yeah, but so there's lots of different things we can do. On the digital booth, we can really customize everything if you'd like to upgrade your package. So for example, Jesse, you'll remember this because we played with this for our holiday party, where the printout matched what was on the boomerang, which matched what was on the screen. And we kind of coordinated that with what the backdrop is. So customizing can really go on, just depends on what your budget is. We try to make sure that we have packages that fit all of those ranges.
So can they also customize their scrapbook? What can you show us what the standard scrapbook looks like?
Yeah, I'll put this down real quick. So our standard scrapbook is a black album with spiral bound pages, and it is tied together with a ribbon. Once you open it up, it does have black pages on the inside. So we bring metallic markers and glue sticks for everybody to glue down their photo strips. And at the end of the night, we'll tie that back up with a nice ribbon. So that is included with all of our classic packages. We also have a extremely nice kind of wooden scrapbook option. If you are on the website, we do have a link to these too. And this is completely customizable. So there's, I think, Jesse, you'll have to remind me, there might be about 5 different kind of materials, whether it's this light wood, I think there's a metal, I think there's
a white.
Yeah, there's white and then there's black. And then on the inside, of course, you've got your pages. This one truly is customized and handmade from one of our partners. So if this is something that you are wanting to upgrade, we like at least 2 months notice on this to make sure that they have time to custom create that and then get it shipped to us as well.
Okay. I love it. I love that. Okay, so we are almost out of time, but I do want to bring up just one more point. Can any of the booths do only black and white photos? I get this question a lot.
That is going to be the French style and classic style photo booths. They can just do black and white, or they can just do color.
Or you can have the option, right?
Or you can have option to do both.
The video.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah,
That's a really common question.
Videos still get recorded in color, though.
Good to know.
Okay.
Good to know. All right, so I think we're pretty much out of time. Is there anything we missed? Anything else you want our couples or clients to know? We have lots of backdrop options. Our photo booth attendants will be there to help you throughout the night. What else?
I think the only thing I would add to that is, you know, any of these photo booths and whatever configuration they're in can really be I guess adapted to what your wedding theme is, whether that's rustic, whether that's classic, whether that's elegant, you know, brides that are in ballrooms, you know, you can, I don't want to say conceal, but if you've draped your entire ballroom, you can get the classic white photo booth, and it can, I don't want to say blend in, but it can almost blend in. You know what I mean? If you're having your wedding at, let's say, a barn, I mean, we've got options for that too. So think outside the box. Not every photo booth has to only fit a certain theme. So
yeah. Okay, I have one last question, and this is a fun one to wrap up with. And this is from Natalie, one of our photo booth attendants. So
hey,
shout out Natalie. We miss seeing you around the office. What is your go-to prop when you hop into the booth?
Oh,
I'm here for the beer.
Here for the beer?
Yeah.
The sign.
Yeah. I want to say I am like what's it called? A photo booth connoisseur. So I actually like to grab, depending on how many pictures, a prop for every picture, so I could switch it up every time.
You could like change them out.
So I'll typically grab like at least 1 or 2 like photo bubbles. I really love mustaches or lips on a stick, and then sometimes I'll switch out and do my fun glasses. So
yeah. Mark, what about you?
Gonna have to go with a mustache on the stick.
Old Faithful.
yes. I wouldn't expect anything less.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you guys for letting me pick your brain. Thank you, Mark and Shadow, for pulling out all these different booths and showing them off. I miss seeing you guys around the office, but hopefully we'll all be together again at the warehouse very soon. Any last regards from you guys before we end this live stream?
I'm good. Thank you guys for joining us. Please stay safe, and we cannot wait to party with you.
Yay. You can follow us on Instagram at PhotoBoothRocks. And if you have more questions, feel free to go to photoboothrocks.com, check them out, and shoot us an email. Thanks so much.
Peace.